Well, it's time now for Media Watch, and I'm joined by Charli James. Hi there, Charli. Now, it's our top story here on France 24 today. The Environment Minister, Nicolas Hulot, announced his resignation on national radio, and he did it in a way that really seemed to be aimed at maximising attention. Tell us a bit more.
That's right. So Hulot was a TV presenter before he went into politics. So he understands how media works. And I want to point out a few things about his resignation that created much more buzz than if he had just issued a statement or done something a little more traditional. First is doing this live on a videotaped radio show. That was a huge hook. And if you look at how international outlets covered it as well, this was something that many of them put in their headlines, including CNN, also here BBC. It also creates a piece of video that can be replayed over and over again on different TV channels, on social media. So that was something that definitely made a bigger splash than just putting out a paper statement of some kind. Second was the element of surprise. So Hulot said in the interview that he hadn't even told his own wife, much less Macron or the prime minister, that he was planning to resign. So a lot of people were caught off guard. And anytime there's that surprise element, that makes the story more clickable. And third, there's the issue that he said really seemed to push him over the edge, which was the relaxation of these controversial hunting regulations, which the French government announced on Monday. Now, Hulot said the decision reminded him of how powerful lobbyists can be with the government, but it's also a pretty easy concept for the general public to wrap their heads around. He is an environmental activist. He hosted a show about animals and nature. So the idea that something like this would really be upsetting to him is very understandable, as opposed to topics such as climate change or pesticides, which might be a little harder for everyone to comprehend. So it looks like his method worked as well. I want to point out a few headlines here. French channel LCI saying his exit was a media blaze of glory. Journalist Vivian Verneau calling it a great moment of filmed radio. And France Inter, of course, the station that he made the announcement on, they did a sort of debrief with the hosts, and in that they called it a moment of grace, a unique moment.
Yeah, of course. Some France 24 viewers might recognize Léa Salamé, who used to work here.
Got her start here.
Absolutely. We're going to stay with an environmental news story, a little bit different though, because according to a report, one of the worst polluting objects in the world oceans is cigarette ends, cigarette butts, and that's something that perhaps a lot of people weren't aware of.
So this is an investigation by NBC News, and it's actually the biggest pollutant in the world and in the oceans. Cigarette butts have long been the single most collected item on those beach cleanups that happen all over the world. But the vast majority of the 5.6 trillion cigarettes manufactured each year have filters made with cellulose acetate, which is a form of plastic that can take up to a decade to decay, to decompose. So cigarette butts are in fact a plastic pollutant, which many people might not know. Now, they've long been free from regulation, but that's something that activists and environmental-minded politicians have been trying to change. And it's sort of the new plastic straw. So we remember just a couple of weeks ago, plastic straws were really kind of the aim that people were talking about as far as pollutants, and a lot of bans going on. Now, cigarette butts are kind of the new plastic straw. San Francisco has a tax that they put of 60 cents on every pack of cigarettes sold in the city as a way to fund cleanup costs, so that smokers are directly paying for that. And there's a new campaign from the Truth Initiative, pardon me. They're known for their funny cartoons, and this one is called "All Butts Are Better Than Cigarette Butts." This is part of a campaign that they are running on TVs across America, and this is posted on their website as well. So they're known for these funny ones, but they are wanting people to ask more businesses and public places to ban smoking. So following the uproar from plastic straws, it looks like this is the next frontier.
I don't use straws and I don't smoke, so neither apply to me, but I do want to listen to that Better Butts song. I'll have to listen to that after the bulletin. And just lastly, we've been talking about the oceans, but there is we're quite sympathetic to animals in the ocean, in their natural environment, but there's one rather angry dolphin out there, and it's been terrifying beachgoers here in France. Tell us more.
Right. So it's a bottlenose dolphin. He lives in a bay in the northwest Brittany region of France, and he's been getting a little too close to comfort, close for comfort to some boats and humans, and it's apparently because he's a little bit frustrated because he can't find a mate, because he's all alone there. His name is Zafar. He's kind of a celebrity in the region. This is a video that a tourist took of him jumping by the boats. He often swims with kayakers, but he started scaring some people recently. Last month, a swimmer had to be rescued by boat when Zafar wouldn't let her return to shore. And then it seems that the final straw was last week when he actually used his nose to throw a woman up in the air on the beach. And so a local mayor there said, this is enough. We have to ban people from going in the water. It's a safety issue. And a lot of people are upset, but he's saying it's security, it's necessary. But it does sound like Zafar might have gotten a little bit lonely, because the local paper West France reported yesterday that Zafar has moved down the coast, possibly in search of a mate. So no word yet if he is terrorizing beachgoers further down yet.
It reminds me of an episode of Flipper, but the slightly angry Flipper. Steer clear of Zafar seems to be the message there from the authorities. Thank you very much indeed, Charli James, with today's edition of Media Watch.